No one in the cafe noticed the little girl crying. Not the couple laughing by the window. Not the students glued to their laptops. Not even the barista calling out orders. No one except him. Ethan Cole sat alone at a corner table, staring at a contract worth millions of dollars. To the world, he was a powerful billionaire. Sharp suit, calm expression, a man who owned half the skyline outside that cafe window. But at that moment, his eyes weren't on the numbers. They were on a small girl standing near the door, clutching something broken in her hands. She looked no older than 7. Her jacket was too thin for the winter air, and her shoes were worn at the edges. But what caught Ethan's attention wasn't her clothes. It was her face, tear-stained, frightened, like she was carrying a weight far too heavy for someone so small. She took a hesitant step forward, then another. Her tiny shoes made almost no sound on the cafe floor as she walked toward him. Ethan looked up just as she stopped at his table. "Mr." Her voice cracked, barely louder than a whisper. "Can you fix my toy?" He froze. People asked him for things all the time, money, favors, opportunities. But never this. Never like this. She slowly lifted the object in her hands. A small robot toy. One arm snapped clean off. The face scratched and cracked. Its paint faded from years of love. It looked worthless to anyone else. But the way she held it told a different story. "It was our last gift from Dad," she said, her eyes filling with tears. "Please." The word hit him harder than any boardroom betrayal ever had. Dad. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He set his tablet down, the screen dimming as if the world itself had paused. He studied her face, those trembling lips, the way her fingers shook as she clutched the toy, like letting go would mean losing her father all over again. "Sit down," he said softly. She hesitated, then slowly pulled out the chair across from him and sat, placing the toy carefully on the table, as if it might break even more. Ethan picked it up. The robot was cheap plastic, probably bought from a small store, but he turned it in his hands like it was priceless. He noticed tiny fingerprints smudged into the paint, tape wrapped around the torso. Clearly a previous repair attempt. "Your dad fixed it before?" Ethan asked. Her face lit up for just a second. "Yes," she nodded quickly. He said, "If something breaks, it doesn't mean it's useless. It just needs care." Ethan swallowed hard. He hadn't heard words like that in years. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily." A simple name, a fragile voice, a heavy story. He called the barista over and ordered a hot chocolate. When it arrived, Lily wrapped her hand around the cup, the warmth calming her shaking fingers. "My mom's working," Lily said quietly, staring at the toy. "She told me to wait here after school. I didn't want to bother her. The toy broke today." Ethan nodded, listening. He always listened to investors, lawyers, executives. But listening to a child talk about loss felt different. Real. Unfiltered. "I can try," he finally said, meeting her eyes. "I can't promise anything, but I'll try." Lily's eyes widened. "Really?" she asked, hope flickering like a tiny flame. "Yes," Ethan said. "Really." For the first time since she walked in, Lily smiled. It was small, careful, like she didn't want to trust it yet. Ethan opened his briefcase and pulled out something no one expected a billionaire to carry. Tiny tools. Old habits from a past life he rarely thought about. "My dad used to fix things too," Lily said as he laid them out. He said fixing things means you don't give up. Ethan paused. He hadn't fixed anything in years. He replaced, upgraded, bought new. But this mattered. As he examined the toy, Lily leaned forward, watching every movement like it was magic. The cafe noise faded away. The contracts, the meetings, the billions, it all disappeared. There was only a broken toy, a little girl, and a promise he hadn't realized he needed to make. "I think," Ethan said gently, "this toy's been very loved." Lily nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. "It smells like Dad." Ethan's hands trembled. He realized then this wasn't about plastic and screws. This was about memory, about grief, about holding on to love when the world takes someone away. "I'll take good care of it," he said firmly, "just like your dad did." Lily reached out and touched his sleeve. "Thank you, mister." Ethan looked at her, and for the first time in years his wealth felt meaningless, because sitting across from him was something far more valuable, a child's trust. And as the sunlight faded outside the cafe window, Ethan Cole had no idea that this one small request, this broken toy, was about to change the rest of his life forever. Ethan hadn't planned on staying. He told himself he would fix the toy, hand it back, and leave. That was it. One small act of kindness, nothing more. But the clock on the cafe wall kept moving, and Ethan stayed right where he was. Lily sat across from him, her elbows on the table, chin resting on her hands, watching every tiny movement like her entire world depended on it. "Does it hurt the toy when it breaks?" she suddenly asked. Ethan looked up. "No," he said gently, "but it hurts the person who loves it." Lily nodded slowly, like she understood that better than anyone ever should. Ethan carefully loosened the tiny screws on the robot's back. Inside, wires were tangled, one clearly snapped. "That's the problem," he murmured. Lily leaned closer. "Can you fix it?" "I think so," he replied, "but I'll need your help." Her eyes widened. "Me?" "Yes," he smiled. "You're the expert. You know this toy better than anyone." She straightened proudly. As Ethan worked, Lily began talking, soft at first, then more freely. "My dad used to bring me here," she said, glancing around the cafe. "He said this place smelled like warm mornings." Ethan paused, then continued carefully reconnecting a wire. "What was he like?" he asked. Lily smiled sadly. "He laughed loud. And he always fixed things that weren't broken yet, just in case." Ethan swallowed. The robot clicked faintly as he tested a connection. "It's trying," he said. Lily gasped. "That's what Dad used to say." Minutes passed. Then more. Other customers noticed. Phones were lowered. Conversations softened. A billionaire in a suit hunched over a broken toy. A little girl watching like it was the most important moment of her life. Finally, Ethan snapped the toy back together and pressed a button. The robot's eyes flickered. Then it stood, its arm, still stiff but attached, lifted slowly. Lily froze, then screamed, "It works! It works!" She jumped out of her chair and hugged the toy tightly, laughing and crying at the same time. Ethan smiled, but his chest felt tight. He had fixed the toy. But something else was breaking inside him. Lily suddenly stopped laughing and looked up at him. "Can it talk?" "No," Ethan said softly. She nodded. "That's okay. Dad used to say some things talk without words." Ethan hesitated. Then he did something unexpected. While Lily was distracted, he opened the toy one last time and slid something small inside, a folded note. He closed it carefully. "Hey," Lily said, "what did you put in there?" Ethan knelt so they were eye level. "A secret," he said, "from your dad." Her breath caught. "Really?" She opened the toy carefully and found the note. It read, "I'm always with you. Keep fixing the world, one small thing at a time." Lily burst into tears. Not loud ones, quiet ones, the kind that come from deep inside. She hugged Ethan without asking, and Ethan didn't pull away. For the first time in years, someone needed him not for his money, but for his heart. Later, Lily's mother arrived, breathless, apologetic, exhausted. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I was at work." Lily ran to her. "Mom, he fixed Dad's toy." The mother looked at Ethan, confusion turning into gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. Ethan nodded. It was nothing, but it wasn't. As they left, Lily turned back. "Will I see you again?" Ethan hesitated, then smiled. "If you come back to this cafe," he said, "I'll be right here." She waved, and as the door closed behind them, Ethan sat alone. But for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel empty. He felt chosen. It was never supposed to become a story, just a broken toy, a quiet cafe, a little girl who needed help. But the world has a way of finding things it shouldn't. It started small. A photo. Someone in the cafe had taken it. The billionaire in a tailored suit, kneeling beside a little girl, holding a toy like it was priceless. No headlines at first, just a post. Then another. "Is that Ethan Cole?" Who's the kid? Why is he crying? By morning, it was everywhere. Ethan saw it on his phone while sitting in the same corner of the cafe, staring at the same table where Lily once sat. For the first time in years, his name wasn't attached to profits or power. It was attached to kindness. And that terrified him. He closed the app and looked up just as the cafe door opened. Lily walked in. She ran straight toward him. Toy robot clutched her chest like armor. "Mr. Ethan," she called. He smiled before he could stop himself. But behind her was her mother, and on her face, worry. She sat across from him, careful, guarded. "I know who you are," she said quietly. Ethan nodded. "I was hoping you would find out this way." She exhaled. "People at work recognized you. They started asking questions about Lily." That word, Lily, cut deeper than any accusation. "I never wanted attention," Ethan said firmly. "I just wanted to help." She studied him. Not his suit, not his watch, his eyes. "I believe you," she said. "But the world doesn't stop watching just because you're kind." Lily interrupted, oblivious. "Mom." He fixed the robot again. The toy waved its arm proudly. Her mother smiled despite herself. But that night, everything changed. Reporters waited outside the cafe. Strangers whispered. Cameras followed. Lily stopped waving. She held her mom's hand tighter. Ethan watched from a distance, helpless. So he changed his approach. No interviews. No photos. No announcements. Help quietly. School fees paid anonymously. Medical bills handled through third parties. A warmer coat left at Lily's school office, no name attached. And still, Lily kept coming to the cafe. They drew pictures together. Fixed old toys donated by the staff. Read books about heroes who weren't famous, but kind. One afternoon, Lily looked up at him and asked, "Are you rich?" Ethan laughed softly. "I guess so." She nodded thoughtfully. "That's okay. Dad said rich people can be lonely too." Ethan didn't answer, because she was right. But Lily didn't treat him like a billionaire. She treated him like a person, and that made all the difference. Then the rumor hit hardest. They're using him. He's buying their affection. It's a PR stunt. Lily's mother saw the comments. She didn't sleep that night. The next morning, she stood outside the cafe and didn't go in. Lily looked confused. "Mom," she asked, "we're late." Her mother knelt. "We can't go anymore." Lily's face fell. "Did I do something wrong?" Ethan watched from inside, heartbreaking. He stepped out. "Please," he said quietly. "Let me explain." She hesitated, then nodded. "I don't want Lily growing up feeling watched," her mother said, "or like she owes anyone anything." Ethan took a breath. "I don't want that either," he said. "I don't want to replace her father. I just want to be there." Silence. Then Lily reached out and grabbed Ethan's hand. "You're not my dad," she said simply, "but you fix things. And you listen." Her mother's eyes filled with tears. Ethan knelt beside Lily. "I promise," he said, voice steady. "No cameras. No pressure. No expectations. Just kindness." That day, the cafe door closed again. But this time, it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something the world didn't need to see to be real. The cafe stayed empty longer than usual. Ethan noticed it first on a Tuesday afternoon. Same table, same chair, same cup of coffee slowly growing cold in his hands. No Lily, no small shoes tapping across the floor, no robot waving its stiff little arm, no quiet voice asking if broken things could still be loved. The world had gone back to normal, and somehow that hurt more than the attention ever had. Ethan tried to convince himself it was for the best. Lily deserved peace. Her mother deserved privacy. He was just a stranger who happened to fix a toy. But deep down, he knew the truth. He missed them. Weeks passed. Ethan donated more, signed more deals, attended more meetings. Applause followed him everywhere, but it felt hollow. Then one evening, as the cafe lights dimmed and chairs were stacked for closing, the door opened. A familiar bell rang. Ethan looked up. Lily stood there, holding the robot. She hadn't changed much, but she looked stronger. Taller, somehow, braver. Behind her, her mother hesitated at the door. For a moment, no one moved. Then Lily ran. "Mr. Ethan!" She threw her arms around him, the robot slipping from her grip and clattering to the floor. Ethan knelt and hugged her back, his chest tight, his voice caught somewhere deep inside. "I thought you weren't coming back," he whispered. Her mother approached slowly. "We needed time," she said, "to breathe, to think." Ethan nodded. "I understand." She looked around the café, the place where everything began. "Lily never stopped talking about you," she said quietly. "About how you listen, about how you fix things." Lily picked up the robot and placed it on the table. "It stopped working again," she said sadly. "But I wasn't scared this time." Ethan smiled gently. "Why not?" "Because I know broken doesn't mean gone." Something inside Ethan finally broke free. As he fixed the toy, again, her mother watched closely, not with fear this time, with trust. "You changed her," she said softly. Ethan shook his head. "She changed me." The robot beeped to life. Lily clapped. But this time, she didn't cry. She just smiled. That night, they sat together long after the cafe closed, talking, laughing, sharing memories. Her mother spoke of long shifts and quiet nights, of trying to be strong when she felt anything but. Ethan spoke of empty homes and success that echoed without warmth. At some point, Lily fell asleep with her head on Ethan's shoulder. No one moved. Finally, her mother spoke. "She needs stability," she said. "People who don't disappear." Ethan met her eyes. "So do I." Silence. Then, "Would you like to be part of our lives?" she asked. Not a question about money. Not about rescue. About presence. Ethan's voice barely worked. "Yes." Not long after, life settled into something new. No headlines. No announcements. Just routine. School pickups. Homework help. Sunday breakfasts. Ethan didn't replace Lily's father. He honored him. A small workshop was set up in Ethan's home. Lily learned to fix things just like her dad had taught her. On one shelf sat the robot, still scratched, still imperfect, still loved. One evening, Lily looked up from her project. "Mr. Ethan?" "Yes." "You're family now, right?" He smiled. "Yes, Lily, I think we are." Years later, people would talk about Ethan Cole's greatest legacy. They wouldn't mention the companies, or the money, or the buildings. They'd talk about the day a little girl walked into a cafe with a broken toy and fixed a broken man instead.